Hello and welcome to Reboot Civilization. My name is CJ Morgan and today my guest is Chad Alexander. Today we're going to be exploring the concept of chatbots. Hi Chad.
Hi, CJ. Thanks for having me back.
How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Well, it's very exciting. This whole new world of chatbots. Tell me everything. What do you know?
Well, my experience with chatbots started many years ago, back in the days before Windows, the operating system, and before even like Mac had their windowed operating systems. And there was something called disk operating system, or DOS,
Yeah.
and that was how we interacted with the computers, and that's how we made them run programs. From a little command prompt, it had a little flashing cursor, and you just had one line that you would type things in, tell it open this program or list the files, and that was it. Um, and then somebody way back, I guess in the 80s or maybe even earlier than that, wrote a program called Eliza,
Yeah.
and Eliza was supposed to be like a therapist, like a psychotherapist, where you could
So that
type
was the
in.
first chatbot, was it?
As far as I know, that was the birth of chatbots, but it was fake. It wasn't based on artificial intelligence or anything like that. It was kind of just, it would say, "Hello, my name is Eliza, and I'm your therapist. Tell me about your childhood." And then you would type something in, and then it would just reply, "Oh, that's very interesting. Tell me more." And then,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it had no context to it.
Mhm.
There were no intelligent replies. And I thought even way back then, and that was in the 80s, probably the late 80s, I discovered that. And I thought it was really interesting. Even though it was dumb, I kind of knew that one day it could evolve into more.
Well, Facebook
And
have really gone to town on it. Like with the invention of Facebook, now chatbots are, it's early days for it, but Facebook really have the information down with Messenger because everyone's using Messenger all the time now. There's an article here, the complete beginner's guide to chatbots, and it said 90% of our time on mobile is spent on email and messaging platforms. 90% of our time, like. So bots, the future of bots is it's the new app store, really, isn't it?
yeah, it really is. And those are good statistics. That's showing how the whole app ecosystem, I think, I don't remember how many there, what is there, 4 million apps on the Apple App Store now. So people have reached a point of exhaustion when it comes to apps. There's just too much.
Mhm.
And there's a question of like, is it really delivering that much value to go and install yet another app on your phone and use up space that could be used for storing videos and pictures and sound files on your phone? So, and the other thing is just context switching. If people are spending 90% of their time on the Messenger apps, that's where they are. So if you have a great idea for an app, you have to figure out a way to make it so incredibly engaging that people are going to leave where they spend 90% of their time,
But you
which is
see, the
messaging
problem,
apps.
the problem that the App Store encountered was so many people have so much data on their phone, on their cell phone, on smartphone. So basically, they don't want to download apps because it's taking away from their selfies and all that kind of thing. So that's where the App Store died. Whereas the new App Store now is chatbots. I'll just tell you what chatbots are, first of all, for people who don't know what chatbots are. A chatbot is a service powered by rules and sometimes artificial intelligence that you interact with via a chat interface. So, Messenger, Slack, Telegram, text messages are all ways that we interact, but Facebook Messenger is where we're all spending our time. So, that's where we'd be building the chatbot.
Right. And that's why Facebook, I guess it was a year ago at their conference, developer conference, they launched the Messenger platform with support for the bots.
Mhm.
So they really made a huge push, and because they realized that they have so much attention on their Messenger platform that it just made sense to sort of turn it into an app ecosystem. because they
Yeah.
already have the people there. It's and you said it's yeah, the space on your phone, the storage issue, that's one thing, but I think the most important thing is just the context switching. You're
Well,
already in your
exciting.
messenger. Why would you go and open up some other app? I mean, I have apps on my phone I barely ever open. I mean,
Yeah.
for example, I'm looking for flights because I'm always traveling, and I'm looking for flights in the next city that I'm going to. Like, I need a flight from there to the next place I'm going to go. I always have to go back on one, like Kayak or Skyscanner and go look
Now
and
you
do
can
it.
have a bot that notifies you the cheapest
Yeah,
flight. It could be anywhere in the
exactly.
world, and it's like, right, I'll go there. It's cheap. you know,
Yeah, exactly. And Skyscanner has a bot on Facebook, so I
right?
just started playing with that one.
Right? It's just like, you
Yeah,
get messages from your friends and phone calls and stuff like that. But this is a bot that comes right into your messenger and says, guess what? $39 one way to Budapest. Because the bot already knows that you're flying from Dublin because you've inputted the information. Chatbots are so simple to use, like they're easy, and like given that people are on messenger apps more than they're on social networks now, it's definitely a new way to be notified of what's going on and geolocation and all that. Like the list is endless for what we can do with chatbots.
yeah. And CJ, this is a huge paradigm in human computer interaction. So if we go back, the biggest thing that happened recently was before this was the iPhone and the smartphone revolution, which
Yeah,
created the app ecosystem. So switching over from websites to apps, that was the last big shift in human computer interaction. Um, but before that, it was the creation of the browsable World Wide Web, like the Mosaic web browser. So you got the web browser, and then that gets replaced by smartphones and apps. And now you're seeing a shift towards this conversational interface. So it's a huge shift. And I mean, it just really, they're saying 2017 is the year of the chatbot. So this is a
oh yeah,
huge
definitely.
thing.
Without it, it's going to change how we interact because it takes no space on your smartphone. That's the beauty of the chatbot. Like, I mean, apps were great, but like there was like problems downloading it, people remembering their password, and storage problems and all that kind of thing. Like that was like experimental. Whereas chatbot doesn't take up any memory whatsoever. It's right into your favorite app, Messenger, and it's there, and it knows everything. And all you have to do is press enter or one button, and it's installed.
Yeah.
It's simple. They've streamlined it so, like, I think it's Facebook's genius project.
Yeah, I find it more interesting than the virtual reality, to be honest,
Yeah.
because we've been looking. I think this is the other thing it does is it gives people a bit of relief from the graphical user interface.
Hmm.
So we've been looking at the graphical user interface for so long now, and the big innovation with the iPhone was the what was it called, zootropic interfaces. Oh God, I can never remember this word.
Yeah.
Anyway, the interfaces that look like real world objects. So it could look like the front of a cabinet and it's your file folder thing, or they had the calendar app that looked like a leather bound book. And we've gone the whole gamut from that to now the flat UI interfaces, and now it's moving towards just typing in. And you're moving away from actually interacting with an interface to your chatbot is like a friend on your friends list, on
Yeah.
your list of messenger contacts. So it changes the paradigm. Instead of opening this thing called an app, which has no real connection to the real world, what's an app in the real world? I don't know.
Actually, a bot that's your friend in China. It's called, okay, let me try to pronounce this. ZOIS. Zia OIS.
Okay.
Built by Microsoft, and guess how many people are on it in China right now? This is a friend, a bot friend.
I don't know.
20 million people.
So they just talk to it like it's a friend.
Yeah, it's their new friend. So it's
Huh.
Eliza 2.0 or 3.0 or 4.0, you know,
Wow.
20 million people. Now, 2017 is the year of the bot. Microsoft are in on it already, and in China, and look at how the mass is appeal is there. Like if they test out a new thing in China and 20 million people are on it and talking to it every day is their new best friend, can you imagine the changing landscape that is going to happen in the internet with chatbots? Like, it's so exciting. So I'll give you some examples. That there's weather bots, getting the weather whenever you ask. Grocery bots helps you pick out and order groceries for the week. News bots, breaking news, tells you the news as it's happening. Life advice bots, telling problems and thinking of solutions. Personal finance bots, helping me manage money better. Scheduling bots, messenger on messenger team, so you'd be going for a meeting and it schedules all your meetings and everything. So it'll say like 10 minutes before your thing, based on your information you've inputted really quickly. It'll be like, oh, in 10 minutes you've got a meeting with so and so. And it's just so neat and so tidy and so streamlined. It's just incredible, like, you know. And I think that test by Microsoft in China really shows how quickly people are going to adapt to this new technology.
Not only that, but with such wide usage, it's going to advance the learning of like the AI that's behind all this, the natural language processing, and also, you know, just the logic behind it.
It'd be interesting to see, do they integrate that with the ads? You know, will Google, Facebook sell the data to Google and bring up the ads, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like writing in about your personal or life problems, you know, that kind of thing. Like, will that be
Right.
in the ads that you're seeing? But who uses search engines anymore? Like, search engines are nearly obsolete, like, you know?
Yeah, there's a, I don't know what it's called, but I came across one. I think it's called Text Engine or something, and it's a search engine that works from the Messenger.
Mm.
So again, it's just a list of one of your contacts, and it's this search engine bot. You know, open up a conversation, type in what you're looking for, and it says, "Here's what I found."
It's almost like Messenger is positioning themselves to take over the new Google.com. You know, the first point of contact with a person isn't
Right.
Google anymore, it's Messenger, because the first thing you're going to do is check your messages. Check,
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, you know how simple the Google search page has been from day one,
yeah,
since 1998? Well, all this time we've basically been using a chatbot. Like Google's search interface is a chatbot.
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
And the more you use it now, the smarter it gets. Or the
yeah.
more, I shouldn't say smarter, but the more relevant your results are to you
Mhm.
specifically, because it has so much context on you. And that's the most important thing with these is context. So when you say, "Hey, chatbot, I want I want to fly to somewhere sunny," and if it has enough context, it'll know the best places to suggest because it knows what you like, right?
Mhm.
So with more usage, you're going to have greater context, and these things eventually are going to know us better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
You have
It'll be
anytime,
a reflection of the user. Like, it will know everything about the user. And like, the question is, in the future, what are they going to do with that information? Like that information on Messenger, phone calls are recorded. Everything is like, you know, there is a big worrying point to be made there, that like they're going to have so much information, like just on level of personal security, about what information you're putting into these bots. You know, like that's going to be like, right now your conversations and your text messages, everything is being recorded and they're building a profile on you. So like that's where chatbots outside of Messenger, outside of Google, you know, like DuckDuckGo, anonymous chatbots will pop up as well, because after a while people won't like the fact that their personality is being scanned into the AI, like.
I'm sure there'll be alternatives like privacy-based alternatives like that. What's that social network, Allo or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Hello. They tried to compete with Facebook and be a private social network. It never worked. And
Yeah.
DuckDuckGo is, you know, it's not even 1,000th of the size of Google.
Oh yeah.
People always look for a privacy anti-environment, but I'm sorry, that doesn't work.
That's the only hindrance I can, the only negative I can think of.
But I mean,
You know,
that's nothing but a small speed bump. That's not even a hindrance because most people don't care. We've already
well,
seen time and time again, people will sacrifice their privacy for more convenience.
oh, totally. But like as time goes on, I think those legal terms and conditions are going to change, because people will be like, you know what? you actually know me better than my mother, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it'll be interesting,
Well, did
especially
you
if
hear
they
about the
start.
one? I found this. Speaking of that, I don't know if you saw the story, but it's probably one of the more popular stories about successful chatbots. There was a fellow in the UK who created a chatbot for people who get parking tickets and they want to contest the parking ticket. So the chatbot asks them a series of
Right.
questions and then says, okay, yeah, you can get off this ticket. You just have to say this and this and this. And then it worked. So it was actually saving people money. So it's actually taking
Yeah.
over as like it's doing legal consulting. So everybody that thought that they were immune to job loss as a result of automation through AI, I'm sorry, pals, but so next, I'm sure someone's going to build a doctor app very soon.
Yeah.
It'll
Oh,
say, "How are you feeling?" "Oh, I have a little bit of pain." "Where's the pain?" "It's in my elbow." "How long have you had it?" "Does it hurt when you do this?" And then, boom, you get a diagnosis.
I think I should go into how chatbots work. So, like, basically, just two types of chatbots. One functions on a set of rules, and the more advanced versions use machine learning. So, the chatbot that functions based on rules, it's limited. It can only respond to specific commands, and if you say the wrong thing, it doesn't know. It's only as smart as it's programmed to be. Whereas machine learning, this is the really exciting bit. This bot has an artificial brain, aka artificial intelligence. You don't have to be specific when you're talking to it. It understands language, not just commands. And this is the one to be kind of keeping your eye out, because this bot continuously gets smarter as it learns from the conversations it has with people. So the machine learning is going to just be like from the beginning, like of 2017, all the way up to 2025. That machine learning is, we kind of have a little bit of Orwell going on there, like with the personal profiles. So I definitely think that's going to be one negative that has to overcome next, like till 2025.
Mm, yeah.
That's the only kind of, like as all technology emerges and comes to the cutting edge and the leading edge, there's always like positive negatives. That's the only negative I can see with it, like, because you're cloning your information. You're telling these new chatbots, which will replace Google and Facebook, social networks, and all that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Everything, every single detail. It's like it'll probably know you better than yourself. Like,
Okay, but here's the thing: with the more people start using chatbots, right now I'm using like one. I'm
mm,
just trying out the Skyscanner one for flights.
yeah.
But imagine when the average person is using like 10 different chatbots
Oh,
and they look on their Facebook Messenger list. They look on their Messenger contact list, and the majority of their friends, quote, are chatbots.
mm.
You know,
You like the name
so it's also a change. Do I like the name
chatbot?
chatbot? I think it's a very juvenile name because it's about more than just chatting.
It's very like, it's interesting. It's a bit kind of, it'll be the new thing, like chatbot. That's the word for it. Like, you know,
It doesn't. I know, but it doesn't convey the realm of possibilities of what the power of what these things can do. This is the beginning of voice command interfaces. They're incorporating
oh
it.
yeah, like,
Yeah, they're incorporating it into Alexa and Google Home, those
mhm.
appliances that sit on your countertop, where you say, Alexa, can you ship me a new pair of Nike Air Jordans? Or Alexa, what's the weather like today? So now, with the evolution of chatbots, it gives you more opportunities for conversational commerce and conversational interaction. Because yeah, on the chatbot in Facebook Messenger or in Kick or any of the other messaging apps, you're typing, you're talking to this thing by typing, but you could just as easily hit the little microphone and speak your words, and then they get voice recognition, turns them into text, this
Yeah.
speech to text interface. So it won't be long before we stop typing and we just say the words.
So fast, Chad, because Facebook Messenger is used by over 1 billion people every month, and it's growing faster than Facebook, right? So everyone's already, the minute that someone learns about the chatbot, they're going to have loads of chatbots because they're so easy to access. And then, like what you're saying, they'll be integrated into voice commands. So we're looking like from the Reboot Civilization um, trajectory, we're looking at like maybe 3 years before. Like I have an article here And this guy is convinced that he actually is convinced that bots are going to replace websites, mobile apps altogether.
And look, I've been someone who's been surfing the evolution of digital computing and the internet and telecommunications since the early 80s. And I've seen the trends come and go. I've seen things that look like fads and they end up not being fads. And I promise you, this chatbot thing is not a fad. Like, this is the new way of interacting.
Like everyone wanted a website built, now everyone will want a bot. That's the way it'll be.
Yeah, and it's also the reason why this works so well now is because of the ubiquity of high-speed internet on all devices, always on internet, unlimited data. If you didn't have that, you couldn't do this because you need to connect to like deep learning farms and natural language libraries that don't fit on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the ubiquity of the data connection that has made this possible.
Yeah, and it's private, like you're reading it. It's not like, it's just like a few lines of text. It's not, you don't have to be emotionally invested. Like when you go on a website, there's so many images now and videos and text and pages and pages and pages of information. A bot is like a line of information that you didn't have to download, that just pops up on your messenger and you can delete instantly.
And I like it because it's very lightweight, like you said.
Yeah.
It's a very discreet type of interaction. It doesn't require you to give up any real estate on your device.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like the new email. So I think this is actually going to hurt email as a marketing tool. I think this is going to obsolesce it because up until now, email has been the best source of permission-based marketing because it's lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
You go on someone's website and go, okay, I'll subscribe to your newsletter. And then you get emails from them every day.
Would you agree with me in saying that chatbots and voice command is going to replace the whole internet?
Well, okay, yes, but don't say the whole internet because there's a lot of layers to that.
Yeah.
We're talking about human-computer interaction. So what the chatbot is going to obsolesce and displace is the graphical user interface, whether that's in the form of an app on your phone or a website that you visit. It's going to make those things, there's too much of an investment for you to go and navigate over to a website and then navigate through the website, or for you to go and install an app, wait for it to download, then learn how the interface works, because all the apps have different interfaces because everybody likes to have their own brand, right? So those are investments that now they look like it's too much of an investment when you can just add the chatbot. It's like you're adding a friend to your contact list and you just say, hey, send me the airline prices for this flight.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you need, the meat and potatoes of it.
Well, right now, Facebook Messenger has 11,000 chatbots, Chad. 11,000.
Well, that's only the beginning. Look at it this way. We're up to 4.5 million apps on the Apple App Store. And Apple's App Store is very controlled. It's the walled garden. It's not easy. Like, you can't just go bang, 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 pump out like all these apps. They have to go through the approval process.
Yeah.
But even still, they're at 4.5 million. Imagine.
It will be regulated eventually, but like 11,000 chatbots.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I know, but I'm saying, like, if it's only at how many thousand did you say?
11,000, yeah.
Oh my God, like,
It's so
it's going to get, before it hits, it's going to take like 4 million before it hits saturation. So this is like, this is day zero.
Yeah. But that live customer interaction, that's how it's monetized. It's not monetized through ads or anything. It's going to, cripple the advertising model that Google was doing, because now it's like you have the person, you're talking to the person, you can program whatever you want to say to that person, you can have a live person chatting to that person if you choose, so like it's like meet and greet, like, you're face to face with the consumer.
24/7 though, like if a consumer has an inquiry, they don't have to wait at all now. They don't have to go and say, oh, sorry, there's no agents available right now, please wait, or come back tomorrow when we have staff. So that's over. If your business does that now, where you're on the old, human model, you're done.
Yeah.
Your customer's already gone to somebody that has a chat bot.
Yeah, because it's fast, it's quick, you get your answer and you've gone on to the next thing.
Exactly. So the smart business today, right now, invest in a chatbot on your website.
It's the new website. It's the new Facebook page. It's the new everything, you know?
Yeah, because people will, you're going to have to close that gap. People aren't going to wait anymore because your competitors are going to have chatbots.
Well, Todd, let's try envision this. So by 2019, 65% of the population will use messaging apps like Messenger, Facebook Messenger. So we're at 11,000 chatbots at the moment in Messenger. So can you envision or imagine the rise of chatbots? It's like the coming of the age of chatbots in the next like 3 years.
Yeah, okay, so there's always a fragmentation that happens that I've noticed so far with
Mm,
every big paradigm shift in human computer interaction. You get this big breakdown. So let's go back to like web 1.0, where you go to a website, let's say it's a travel website, and it does all these different things. Like you can book a hotel, you can book cars, you can book flights, you can look up your history of your travel. They have all the forums and everything where you can talk to other travelers. It's just got everything, right?
mm,
And then when the apps came out on with the iPhone, there wasn't any, the apps, they had to be more specific to a specific purpose. So instead of having everything in one, like you did with the big gigantic websites, you had an app to look up the flight prices. You had a separate app for the forum.
yeah.
You had another app for, I don't know, for looking up rental cars. But that's the best way to do it. Like it just ended up that that worked best, not only economically for a company to start something and make it really, really specific, but it was also better for the user because it's like, oh, I want to check the weather. Let me go to the weather app. I just want to see the weather. That's all. I don't want to go to msnbc.com and try to find the weather among the news and the messenger and all the other shit. I
Mm,
just want the weather and I have a weather app. But now with the chatbots, it's going to fragment even more. There'll be a chatbot that just is just there to tell you when you need to take an umbrella with you. That's it.
mm.
Say, take an umbrella with you. That's all.
And it's so exciting because you don't even need to be a programmer to create a chatbot now.
That's
All,
right. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of sites popping up now where you
mm,
can build your own chatbot without needing to program.
yeah,
But you do. They're not mature enough yet where anybody can use them. You still have to understand the basic paradigms within the chatbot world. Like, what is an entity? What is an intent? What is a context? What does small talk mean? So you have to understand these different things. And the thing is, nobody's put out any courses on it yet
yeah. There you go. There's
because
an opening. If anyone's listening and they're racking their brain trying to figure out something to do, it could be something interesting.
exactly this chatbot thing is going to generate, multi-billion-dollar industry just for education, just like apps did. Look at all the books and Udemy courses on how to program apps in Swift or how to program apps in Java or how to make web-based apps with Angular, right?
Mm. It's an influencer tool as well. Like for some reason, chatbots reminds me back in the day in the 1900s. Like when the ladies used to connect calls, they'd put
The
the
operator. Yeah.
operator. Yeah, it's like chatbot is an operator because it's going to give you links and then it's going to redirect you to a new place to go. So like, I like the name operator. I think if we were to do an open source chatbot or overview system, it would be called operator.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It kind of does. It's like the automated version of the operator.
Yeah, or operator AI or something like
But
that.
here, listen to this, CJ. So the chatbots are coming out of, well, I'm not going to say they're coming out of Facebook, but Facebook has really done a lot for
Eating.
to accelerate, yeah, to accelerate the uptake of chatbots in society. But
Mhm.
what they've also been doing is they're doing Oculus, right?
Yeah,
So imagine when you merge the virtual reality environment of Oculus with chatbots.
phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
we'll all
Yeah.
be.
So now, yeah. So let's say you have a chatbot that's like your therapist
Mhm.
and you talk to it every day and update on how you're feeling and blah blah blah. Now if you go into Oculus, you'll actually be able to see that therapist represented as an avatar.
Oh, whoever creates that UI is just going to be Like I've been working on that UI for years, like the virtual reality UI. And like I had a version of chatbots in it, but I didn't call it a chatbot at the time. It was just like a streamlined interaction to loads of different types of information, like categories of information. So like,
Hmm.
like talk about building open source projects. Like I'd love to build that UI. And Unity is a really good platform, and I think it's open source as well, isn't it? Is it licensed?
I think you can develop on it, but then when you deploy, you have to
Yeah, I
pay
think it's up
based
to like
on
two
how
hundred
big.
thousand euro or dollars. You can, and then after that, then you have to pay over. It's free up until $200,000. I remember seeing that
Mhm.
somewhere. Yeah, but so there's two open source projects, Chad. We have Operator AI or Operator, and then we have um um the user interface built by Unity for virtual reality.
Well, yeah, but yeah, on an open source basis, that could be done. But what I was saying is that Facebook is obviously going in that direction.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
getting behind chatbots, and they're getting behind through virtual reality. It's only a matter of
And
months before you're in the their VR environment. And you turn around, and there's one of your chatbots with a body on it,
yeah,
asking you, what can I do for you?
voice recognition is huge. Like all the accents and exceptions to sound, like the sounding of a word, like British English or American English or whatever language that you're working with. But like once that's perfected, that's when voice will take over. Then the chatbot will speak. So like right now we have automated speech. Like and it's good, but it's kind of listenable too. But like it's not. It would do your head in after like 20 minutes kind of thing. But as that smooths out and it's able to pick up accents and variations and sounds and like stuff like that, the chatbot will become like the voice bot.
Right. Well,
Mhm.
it's just another adapter to
Yeah.
do the speech to text and the text to the speech.
Bot is a good, like if you went through all the different variations for URLs, like all the different versions of, voice bot, chat bot, cat bot, anything bot will be valuable real estate on domains as
Well,
well.
now all the .ai domain names are being bought up.
Yeah, well, bot is the new gold word. We just put a word in front of bot and it'll be worth something, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah. God, that's so interesting. Lots
So
of
can you just explain a little bit more, though, what you meant by the operator? I didn't catch that, by
Oh
the
yeah, so
operator.
back in the 1900s, you had an operator. So like basically they had a huge desk in front of them, a vertical desk, and basically they had a thing that plugged in to a connection. So it was like a port, and you plugged into that port, and then that would light up, and then um, another light would light up, and then they'd move one port, one plug. What's the word for it? Connector into the other plug that was lighting up. And then basically from that, they connected the call. So they were using an analog connection used by manual labor. Like, so there was a woman actually manually connecting the calls. So a light would flash, she'd connect the connector into the plug, and then that call was on the correct stream that it would be broadcasting. So an operator, like a chatbot, is the same thing, because basically you light up, the bot lights up, the receiver, the bot is acting as the operator, and it's connecting you to that information. So the light comes in, the bot connects to the consumer, and then they're connected.
Okay, I thought you meant a specific. You're saying that chatbots are like an retrieval of the old operator paradigm. I thought maybe you were saying that there's a specific app that could be like an
Oh yeah,
operator.
yeah. Like basically, there's so many chatbots. I have so many ideas. I'd say I could fill like my spreadsheets with like loads of ideas. But like if you wanted to come up with a chatbot called Operator, like Operator would be your mainframe interface.
Right.
So like it's like, oh, hang on, I just log on to Operator.
Hmm.
or something like that. Like we can come up with different terms or names and stuff, but it's just it'd be nice, like to reminisce back in the old days of like when you know machines, these huge machines for computers. Like it would be kind of cool to have a bit of history in the name. Like
Yeah, the machines though they're receding into the background, and people don't even see the machines that are
no, it's
behind
going to be
this.
invisible.
The data centers.
You
Most
know
people
what's going
don't
to be
know.
huge as well is, oh my God, this is so exciting. Smartwatches,
Yeah,
because the text would actually fit on the interface. So you might see a move away from, you might have your earpod or your earbuds and your smartwatch. Who
that's
knows?
right.
Because as time goes on, technology is going to become invisible. Well, that's what Reboot Civilization believes, like it's going to become invisible. So um it's going to just streamline all the way down. Like, so we're actually watching it emerge in 2017. How exciting is that? And then,
You were watching the watch.
yeah,
I think
but
the
like,
watch is key to it because once you get more text oriented, like
mm,
you said, you can drop the phone device.
it's
Get
the
rid of it.
chatbot is waiting for the voice bot to appear. What has to happen is the automated speech of the bot it becomes perfected. It sounds human like. I say we're 75% there. And then also when you're inputting a voice commands into your smartphone or your whatever interface you're using, that it can actually pick up accents. Like a French
Right.
person trying to speak into sorry, like it's not going to pick it up. Like,
Mhm.
a French person speaking English, it's like my accent. Like I'll try use sorry, and some of the words I'll get, and other words it won't get. And I did elocution when I was younger,
Yeah.
so I tried to pronounce using elocution, and even then, it's like So I'd say we're at like 40% for voice input, and we're at like 75% for bot speaking.
Right. But yeah,
So
the chatbot is a major leap in evolving voice recognition and text to speech. It's going to
yeah,
accelerate the development of those two things. It's going to accelerate natural language processing. Like reading a sentence like, I want a pizza delivered to 161 Chestnut Street.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah,
And the ability for the software to recognize where the address is in that sentence and where the type of food, pizza, and also the flavor of the pizza, the toppings of the pizza, like be able to pick that out of a sentence.
mhm,
That's natural language processing. So that's going to accelerate, and also just overall machine learning capabilities,
yeah.
classification.
Mhm. So, like 2017 is the rise of the chatbot. So, in your opinion, what year, from Reboot Civilization perspective, what year is the rise of the voice bot?
5 years away.
5 years.
Think about this, okay? I got my first iPhone. I think it was the second version that came out, and I got it in 2008. So I think the first one came out in 2007. So it took 10 years to get from the iPhone to chatbots,
Mhm.
the rise of the chatbots. So if it took 10 years to get there, I think we're going to get to the next step in half the time.
Yeah. Well, it's Moore's law, isn't it? Like it's exponential growth in half the
Well, it's
time.
not exactly Moore's law, but it's similar dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so exciting. Like it's just going to speed up into seamless, invisible
It's
technology.
yeah, it's because like I said, this conglomerate or this aggregate of specific technologies in the stack that make up a chatbot.
Hmm.
So the the machine learning behind it, the natural language processing, the speech to text, and text to speech. Those things, the development of those four items is going to accelerate like super fast because they're going to be loaded up by people using the chatbots and like 20 million people talking to that friend chatbot in China.
Hmm.
Right? And we've only seen day one. Like this is not even day one. This is like the preview to day one.
Yeah. So if you're
There's
listening
only
to this and get out there and become a bot maker and join the bot community, and who knows, you might make your mint. You know?
Yeah, and give people some eye relief from all the clicky graphical user interfaces. Death to the GUI.
Yeah, well, Reboot Civilization is going to capitalize on this big time, and we're going to open source these projects, and it's a really exciting space to watch. I'm not too sure if we're going to broadcast the ideas initially until they're made and stuff, but once they're up and running, like we'll make them open source then, just so we can
Right.
have contributors. Yeah.
And like I said, the interesting thing is that it's not just the actual chatbots, the ecosystem that's going to develop around them in terms
Mhm.
of training people on how to build their chatbots.
Yeah, like if I was a young person, I was 18 years old, and I was all into technology, the things I would invest in is an Oculus headset, and I'd stick with Oculus because Facebook are obviously going to get there first. And I would invest in Unity to make stuff as a maker for the VR headset, and I would buy a smartwatch and make bots. I wouldn't be learning coding. I wouldn't be learning.
I would
Uh,
not be learning how to build, how to program in Swift or how to build Android apps.
no,
I
they're
wouldn't do
obsolete
that.
languages now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there will be use. I'm not going to say that it's not going to kill apps overnight. There's
Mhm.
certain things that can only be done with apps, and
Yeah.
there's certain things that can only be done on a web app. So, for example, the thing that we use to build the bots. So, let's say we're using wit.ai, which is the Facebook platform
Yeah.
for building, doing the natural language stuff. And then Google has the one that they acquired, which is called API.ai.
No, like in my opinion, the
These
most valuable.
hold on, these programs run in a web browser.
Yeah.
The old technology of the web browser, the web-based app. You have to go into that in order to build your bot that runs inside of a messenger.
Mhm.
So there's always room for the old environments, but the old environments become authoring environments for the new environments.
That's it. Like, I mean, people who will have a desktop will literally be the makers, and the receivers, the consumers, will be on their smartphone and smartwatches
Right. So
with
if you
their.
want to build, if you know how to build iPhone and Android apps, and you want to know what to do with your skill,
Mhm.
you insist on build apps that build chatbots
Yeah,
for that
exactly.
administer chatbots. So you can monitor your chatbot and notice, you can look through the logs and say, oh, the chatbot failed to respond to this same query multiple times. So I better build in um, some context for that and some intent so that it can address those things. Because a lot of people are asking this and it doesn't know how to respond. So you can administer your chatbot with an app. So there's an opportunity there.
Yeah, totally. Well, Chad,
Yeah.
this is really exciting. And I'm so excited and honored to get to talk to you about this because I know that your knowledge is so extensive. So thank you for joining Reboot Civilization and being a contributor. And I look forward to speaking with you again.
It's my pleasure, CJ, and Reboot Civilization is a great platform to get these ideas out there. And I just love how you've opened it up for anybody to come in and get involved
Yeah, well,
and making
the,
a shortcut to the future.
the idea is like to speed up the future, and so we're actually around for it, like, because life extension technologies is very limited in this era. 2017, this epoch, we mightn't see life extension technologies, so we might as well start get the show on the road and get technology streamlined and visible and start working on these life extension labs so we're actually around to enjoy the fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Using elocution, and even then it's like,